Don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
This is Dave's Video Graveyard. Halloween Shitemare Month.
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
I'm your number one fan.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
I'm scared to close my eyes. I'm scared to open them.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
There's no more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
Sometimes that is better.
This is Dave's Video Graveyard. Halloween Shitemare Month.
It is 100.5 WOWFM, Dave's Video Graveyard. A massive pleasure to be with you, whatever you may be doing on this wonderful South Australian long weekend. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'll be with you till 10 p.m. this evening. Now, I'm joined this evening. Many people say that perhaps I'm into the ladies that could beat me up, and never more so is it true than tonight's guest. I am joined by DVG All-Star / DVG favourite. I am joined by Savannah Summers, the Princess of Perfection, RCW Women's Champ, Warzone Wrestling Champ.
Yes.
The champion of my heart, of course.
Thank you.
And you also won some other stuff to do with RCW, is that right? Did you get Key to the City or something?
Oh, no, I
No?
wish.
Well,
oh, no, I'm
spoiler alert, it's going to happen.
Future Wrestling, the Road to Glory holder, which
That's
means
it.
I get a shot at their belt at some point.
That's what I meant.
So, if New South Wales ever opens up again, maybe I'll get a shot at the belt and be a 3-time belt holder. That would be nice.
A lot of people would accuse me of stealing your glory, but I've noticed from your very first appearance, because you have, believe it or not, you are now the third most reoccurring guest here on DVG.
No.
You're working your way up.
Oh,
so
yeah, I got to keep that then, definitely.
There's your next title. Have to get a belt made. It's quite expensive.
Yeah.
However, every time you come, you seem to be a little bit more successful with wrestling, and I'm going to say it. You can thank me anytime. I think your road to glory has been paved on the back of DVG.
Yes.
There, I've said it. It's out there.
I'll admit it. It's where all the glory is coming from for sure. But I really don't know how it's happened, because I'm just getting older, and usually that means you're winding down. But somehow, for me, I'm just getting better.
Now, I think let's take this moment to not apologise, because only to lock down like 3 days later.
Let's not talk about it again. We don't want to jinx it,
I know, that's it.
We just had some issues already, haven't we, from Mount Gambier or something?
Yeah,
so
I
let's
know,
not
scary
let's not
times.
jinx it, okay?
Yeah,
I don't need that.
But as I say, your success is my fault. If we do lock down again, Savannah Summers on all your social medias to take it up with her.
Yeah, all right.
Now, you spent the weekend body slamming.
Yep. Doing
What'd
my
you do?
thing. Spent the weekend in Perth for a company first show for their company, new company in Perth, Southern Territory Wrestling, and it was for their women's championship. That was new champion. It was the first ever, so unfortunately didn't bring that home.
Oh, man.
Didn't add that to my collection, but I'm sure I can go back.
If you had one, I'm sure you would have come back and found some COVID and spread it around. Shut the borders. You're like, sorry, guys.
To be fair, Delta actually won, and she's from South Australia, so she's back here. She could be doing anything with it.
Nice.
But I'll definitely take her on for another shot at that belt.
Now, you seem to have built your momentum back up again since, last time the wrestling stopped locally. You got a massive show coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, we got our first big show at the new Riot City Wrestling Academy. Should be good. It's it's bigger, it's better, it's, all of those things. So I am not even sure if I'm on the show yet, but I will be there no matter what.
Nice.
So,
nice.
you can always catch me at a Right City show.
I can make a call if you like, because as I say...
Make it happen.
Your road has been paved by me, so if you need me to call in...
You can pull some strings
and
do the thing.
I'll ring up and be like, what belts do you have? And I'll sort it all out.
Spanner needs them.
Fantastic. So this evening, because it is October, which is traditionally DVG Shitemare Month, where we celebrate horror movies. So tonight, it's a mixed bag special featuring yours truly, but we're tinging things a little bit horror this evening.
Yes.
Now, I learned after having you as my co-host for a Valentine's Day special, you do not like Valentine's Day movies whatsoever. So let me check before we get into this evening. Where do you sit with horror movies?
I like horror movies, but I think it depends. I don't like anything too predictable, and a lot of the time with your regular sort of slasher movies.
You're welcome.
It's all very much the same. So anything that's a bit different always stands out to me, and I do like them. I wouldn't just go crazy and watch a whole bunch all the time, but if there's a good new one out, I'll definitely give it a go.
And I must say, you're probably one of the most least experienced guests that I've had in regards to horror, because you're only in your early 20s, so you've only been able to see R-rated films for about 2 or 3 years. So
that's it. I'm limited.
Really lucky.
Sure.
That's it. Awesome. So before we get into tonight, if you want to follow Savannah on any of the social medias, you could also send DVG some messages telling us what you'd like to do with Savannah Summers, like many of your
you get
fans.
That from my fans.
Yeah. Every time you're on the show, it's like, wow, we are really popular with single men with really, really close-up selfies as their profile picture. It just
seems down low. Always.
Yeah. Basically, screen capture of chat roulette quite often, and they're huge fans of you.
Yes, I have a lot of the fans. You should see my DMs.
Oh, I can only imagine. It would have more sausages than a Bunnings car park, I'm sure.
I have a good variety, that's for sure.
I bet. Well, let's jump into a little bit of music before we celebrate tonight's cool theme. And, of course, you can join in the conversation. Simply look for Dave's Video Graveyard on all your social medias. Also look for Savannah Summers. Send her your favourite photos, whatever you want to do.
All the photos.
All the photos. This is 100.5 WOWFM. It is Dave's Video Graveyard interrupting booty calls since early October 2021. We are joined by Savannah Summers this evening, talking all about horror movies and taking our turns to recommend movies. As Savannah, you are the guest. I think it's only fair that I go first.
Oh, okay. I'm okay with that. Whatever.
My first recommendation is from 1998. This is one of those movies to me holds a very special place because I remember vividly finding the soundtrack about 6 months before the film was released, falling in love with the soundtrack after I bought it. It had that song we just heard, Brick in the Wall by Class of 99, which was Lane Staley from Alice in Chains. It was members of Rage Against the Machine, and I can't remember who else, but that's a pretty big lineup. And it had The Offsprings, The Kids Aren't Alright, had all these songs that I was absolutely in love with, including a cover from Creed, the worst band on earth of the 1990s.
Nice.
They covered Alice Cooper's I'm 18, and it was glorious. I'm talking about 1998's The Faculty, starring Josh Hartnett, who I wonder where he is now, directed by Robert Rodriguez, that did From Dusk Till Dawn, written by Kevin Williamson, who did all the Urban Legend movies, Scream, pretty much The Mummy as well, any of those amazing movies late 90s.
Nice.
This seems to be the least successful movie that he was a part of in that run. However, I still love it because this is honestly Invasion of the Body Snatchers, written literally by the man that wrote Dawson's Creek, because it really is. And young Jordana Brewster, Usher's in there.
Oh, really? I don't even remember that.
Most importantly, one of the greatest actresses in the history of the world, Salma Hayek, is in this movie.
There you go. I remember the movie, but I don't really remember who was in it.
Oh, well, you can go now. Thanks for coming. Send that message.
It is a good movie, though. I think I only watched it a couple of years ago again, so It's a good one. Definitely.
It's just one of those things. It was kind of like everyone in it went on to do bigger and better things, But at that point, well, except Robert Patrick, because he had already done Terminator 2 in 91. It's such a well-casted movie. You get Jon Stewart pop up in there. Clea Duvall, who I think she would hate me in real life. I can just tell from her characters in this and in other movies. She just doesn't seem like a huge fan of mine. It's a lot of fun. It is a very heavily tinged in B-movie history. So it's kind of got a bit of The Blob, a bit of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, a whole heap of other things. Main character is named Casey Connor, played by Elijah Wood. And essentially he's the high school newspaper photographer, and he starts witnessing things, including the murder of Salma Hayek, which is always upsetting. And I always found it funny. One of the teachers is played by the actress that played Lilith in both Frasier and Cheers.
Okay.
And I hate the show Frasier. And I really didn't like her on Cheers.
Fair enough.
So in this, when she because one thing about when you it's your old haggard teachers that get attacked.
Yeah.
Once you've been attacked, you get more attractive and a bit more sexy. So when she made that transition from not sexy to sexy, I wasn't buying it. I was
no,
I don't like you, Lilith.
I've made my decision.
Yeah,
I'm not changing my mind.
I'm like, excuse me, I don't care. It's the Not Another Teen movie where it takes her glasses off and lets the ponytail
and
out.
It's meant to change everything.
And I'm like, no, I'm not buying it. And then the nurse that's quite sickly, and then she gets hot, Salma Hayek. So that's the other way, where I'm like, nope, she's not plain enough to begin with.
Yeah.
So I love this movie. It's got really cool practical effects, as well as some really questionable CGI, but it was 1998.
It was a while ago.
But I really love this movie. I revisit it so often. The soundtrack, like I said, is high in my rotation because I'm that guy that still listens to songs from high school, which you're lucky because that's only in the last couple of years, as we talked about earlier. So
yes, sure.
your year 12 graduation song came out in 2020. So
crazy, right?
Yeah, I know.
Crazy.
It's just, I can't imagine what that's like. What do you think of creature features? So, because obviously the aliens got tentacles, and there's a giant alien that turns into a naked girl in the end of this movie.
Gotta love naked girls.
Hey,
all right,
you said it, not me.
Gotta have them in the horror movies.
Well,
it's like a must.
After you sharing some of the inbox that you received, I'm like, yeah, I can get why you appreciate the female form. It's oversaturation of one, and you're like, yeah, that's fine.
That's it. Got to balance it out.
What about wrestling movies? What do you think as a professional wrestler? Like, Ready to Rumble is a classic and should have won every Oscar ever made. What do you think of Mickey Rourke's The Wrestler?
I really like The Wrestler. I almost like that it was a bit more B grade, indie sort of. I really enjoyed it, so there should be more.
I like the way it portrayed the backstage of a really, you'd know this so well.
More realistic.
Your early Friday evening show,
yeah,
where there's 20, 30 people backstage and 6 out in the crowd.
I definitely had one or two of those in my time, that's for sure.
Anytime you're not on the poster, I'm sure.
I think it just shows everyone that it's not all glamour and glitz, and we're all real people, and that's how it really is. Our bodies are destroyed.
Because it always stuck with me, that guy, his boss from work.
He's his real job.
Yeah,
his shit job.
Aren't you sitting on guys in your underpants this weekend? Yeah. Stuff like that.
Yeah. You get that a lot.
Do you ever get mixed up and show up to your day job in your wrestling gear and you're like, whoops?
No. They have said it though. They're like, you should just come to work in your gear.
Don't you dare ruin what I'm picturing in my head right now. Just say yes and move along.
Okay. Sure. All the time.
Every time.
Love it.
Yeah, it's all you
Especially
wear.
Halloween's perfect time for it, right? It's allowed.
That'd be awesome. I've always wanted to do a costume of either Vader or Bam Bam Bigelow, because I need that body type, and I want to just because I lost all that weight one year dressed as Macho Man Randy Savage, and now none of those clothes fit me whatsoever.
You could be the blue meanie.
How dare you?
That's a good one, though.
So you set up a point for someone to go, no, not at all, Dave. You're not like that.
About?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You
could
be Randy.
Oh, you could be King Mabel. Have you ever thought of doing Viscera, or do you don't want to do blackface?
No, don't do that.
Okay.
That's not allowed.
Off air, you said it was totally fine.
Think of a mask gimmick, because, we all have to wear the masks at the moment, so maybe a good mask character would be good.
I did see a local female wrestler sporting a mask, and she was breathtaking.
Yeah?
She had the braids and everything. It was really cool, really cool.
Yeah.
Have you wrestled her before?
Well, there's a few girls that wear the mask.
She was a part of the Rude Ones for a bit.
Venus, yeah.
Venus, yeah.
Yeah, she's good. She's still around a little bit, I think. I don't know if she's really doing much these days.
I think she's quite attractive, but I
she
bet
was a
you
bit of
she's
a
not
hottie.
very nice.
Yeah, well, she's with the Rude Ones, so I can imagine.
How much would you like to fight her?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah?
She's definitely been one at the top of my list because I've never stepped in the ring with her. So maybe one day we'll make it happen.
I look
We'll get her
forward
back.
to that.
We'll get all the Rude Ones back, I reckon, and we'll make it happen.
I think perhaps it's the bookers are worried about having two, I don't want to say wrestlers, specimens of such beauty in the ring at the one time.
Yeah.
It would just be too much.
Yeah.
And then from then on in, wrestling would be finished.
Yeah. Nothing could top it.
Because wrestling's always ongoing feuds, ongoing storylines. If you and Venus were to wrestle, that kind of visual feast, they'd be like, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
Wrestling's done. Hand in your boots. Stop sending dick pics. It's all over.
It's
done.
over. Nothing can top this.
Awesome. So obviously you told us how you got into wrestling last time we were talking, but what do you think wider scope? Do you keep up with the products? What do you watch? Where does your love of wrestling? Is it still in what you do, or do you still love to watch it, or what's your feel of overall wrestling?
I really don't watch it much anymore. I've gone through different periods. Like I used to obviously watch a lot when I was younger, and then when I started wrestling, I stopped for a long time, and then I think after a few years I started again. I think when a lot of the people that I know got signed, I started watching, WWE and that again, just to really follow them. And then I just slowly lost interest again. I guess they let go a few people.
Yes, yep.
And so I'm once in a while I'll flick it on and just skip to the girls and watch the girls stuff, but that's really it.
That's very sexist.
Yeah, it is. I'm very sexist when it comes to wrestling. I like watching the ladies. What can I say?
I watch, and you see, occasionally I watch the product, and you see like Alexa Bliss and all that come out, do amazing moves, Charlotte Flair being super violent, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And 16-year-old me, still in the back of my mind, is like, I wonder where Sable is.
Yeah, I bring her up all the time now that Brock is back. I'm like, why don't we have Sable back as his manager?
That would
because he needs a manager, right? Paul's gone.
I think for the record payout that she received from the WWE, that may have.
But that's why it would be so good because no one would expect it.
True.
No one, and then they're trying to get numbers over, AEW. It's like, come on, this would surprise everyone. We would like this. Make it happen.
So for those that do follow wrestling at the moment, it feels like a rebirth of the Monday Night Wars because obviously AEW, this road company, have kind of come out of nowhere and they're starting, they're super
doing really
interesting.
Well, yeah.
I actually watch AEW every week, which I never thought. I Google image some of the girls. I never thought I'd get back into it, but it just has captured my excitement again. So I am following it again.
That's good.
However, I just wish that WWE would take note and start firing shots.
Yeah.
Start burning AEW shirts on Raw. Just really
but that is how
break
I feel
the rules.
as well. I feel like WWE just getting a bit stale. And that's why I don't watch as much as I used to.
You listen to Eric Bischoff's podcast of all the things they held back on during the literal Monday Night Wars.
Yeah.
This time around, throw the rule book out. Like you say, bring Sable back even though she's on bad terms.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Apologise.
Yeah.
I
don't think that'll happen.
I know, me neither, but I still hope. I hold out a lot of hope that it might happen.
Awesome. Ready to Rumble. Have you seen that film?
I think I have, but I seriously don't remember it.
It's David Arquette in late days
No,
WCW.
I haven't. I want to.
Future podcast,
okay.
And you are going to be there.
Okay.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Not on it.
No.
You're just going to be there. You and Venus will be there.
Yep.
And it'll be a nightgown match. Throwing back to when wrestling was wrestling.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Let's jump back into the music. Don't forget you can join in the conversation. Dave's Video Graveyard. Some of those are words. Dave's Video Graveyard on WOWFM. 1995, John Carpenter had kind of gotten over making really good movies, so he started making not really good movies. However, he made a remake of The Village of the Damned in 1995, starring Luke Skywalker as one of the characters. Also, Superman, Christopher Reeves in the final film before his horse riding accident. We are talking about Village of the Damned, like I said, directed by John Carpenter. Originally, 1960 was the first film, starring also Kirstie Alley from Cheers, because we just keep talking about Cheers.
That's it, yeah.
Cheers theme this evening.
Yeah, that's it. Why not?
Why did you pick this movie? And tell us about it.
Oh, okay.
Tell me everything.
Everything.
How long is it?
I picked this because I think it's one of probably the first scary movies I watched when I was a kid. So I'm sure at the time scared the bejeebers out of me. Watching it back now, not so much, but it's still a different sort of theme, different kind of horror movie. So I still don't mind it. It's about a town that all pass out, I guess, at the same time or something. They faint.
Overall, the movie's not fantastic, but just if you were to just cherry pick some of the good bits, you'd think it's an incredible film because the entire town pass out for 12 hours.
Yeah, something like
and
that.
no one can go into the town because they pass out if they do.
Yeah.
One of the guys falls on the barbecue.
I was about to say that. That's the bit I remember. They all wake up and there's this guy just roasting on the barbecue. And they're like, oh my God.
But how good would it smell? Like, I know it's horrible.
No.
But you'd be like, oh, what is that?
Everyone else just happens to fall nicely, and considering how many people are driving, there's really not too many car accidents, and there's just one guy on the barbecue. Like, they had to, at least kill one guy.
So I believe it's 6 parents fall pregnant that day as well?
It's 5 couples. Or there's
6 couples.
Yeah, there's 10 altogether. 10.
So 5...
Yeah.
Yeah, all 10.
10, I guess, yeah. There's 10 kids. Because I thought there were 6.
I'll get the chalkboard out.
I thought there were 6 as well. But when I rewatched it, there's 10.
Because one doesn't make it.
Yes. Well, so
there's an uneven...
There's
a
9.
But
there's
number.
meant to be like 5 couples of the kids.
That makes sense.
Did I
get
explain it right at all?
You did. So 5 women fall pregnant in that 12-hour span. They are very quickly...
No, 10. Because there's 5 couples.
64 women fall pregnant.
I thought it was 6, but it's 10. Right. So there's got to be 10
ladies.
Yes.
Fall pregnant.
Yes.
9 of them carry them to full term.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, 1 doesn't make it.
Yeah.
So they start rapidly aging, these kids. They've all got white hair.
Yeah.
And we find out that they can use mind control on anyone and make them do anything.
Yeah.
And because it's a horror movie, this manifests in a way that we get to see one of the mums.
Yeah.
That smacks the kid for crying. Put the mum's hand in boiling pot of water.
Yeah.
Which is horrible.
And then I think ends up committing suicide as well. A bunch of them do.
Yeah. And we also get the janitor, the alcoholic janitor.
Yes.
He really has an issue with him. He knows something's up. So he decides one day to hit one of the kids in the head with a broomstick. So the kids send him backwards up a ladder and make him fall off chest first onto the ladder.
Yes.
Onto the broom, should I say.
And I think, was it Kirstie Alley ends up dismembering herself with a knife. So that's a good time.
It's a feel good hit of the summer. From Disney, coming this fall.
But obviously there's like a little bit of a turn with the one kid that didn't have a partner.
Yeah.
Because the one that didn't make it.
He is the son of Christopher Reeves' character.
No.
No? Okay.
Because there's 2 main kind of characters, I think, and the other one is the girl, and he's the son of the girl. I can't remember who she's blonde. The Christopher Reeves is the one with the lady that puts her hand in the water. Yeah. So, but he's still one of the main ones because he ends up I think he helps save the boy at the end. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, we just ruined the whole movie. But
No. It's definitely worth viewing because it moves quite quickly. I always love that both John Carpenter did a little cameo in this, and so did Frank Darabont, who went on to direct the Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile.
A little bit better.
Yeah.
He stepped up after that.
He's fantastic. He also did The Mist in 2007, the greatest horror movie ever made. What would you give Village of the Damned out of 19?
Out of 19, probably an 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, I liked it. I think it's more of like I said, from my childhood, so it has those like nostalgic memories.
I too saw it way early as a kid.
Yeah.
And it was so visceral and scary and
Yeah.
all these things. Then after watching lots of other horror movies and coming back, it's like, this feels like a midday movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it comes across. Definitely.
Awesome. We're going to continue the recommendations. This is DVG. And nothing like a horror movie that features The Offspring on the soundtrack. And that is my next suggestion from 1999, the greatest year of cinema of all time, Idle Hands. It is a movie I revisit pretty much every Halloween. A huge fan of this movie, starring Devon Sawa, Casper himself, Seth Green, Eldon Henson, and Jessica Alba. Very young and somewhat attractive, if you're into that kind of thing. Now, this movie is so much fun. It introduced our generation to Rob Zombie because it has Dragula in the music, one of the music videos, and that's where I found out about it. Essentially, a teenager's hand becomes possessed and goes on a killing spree, and he has to stop it along with the help of like his friends, who are both undead ghouls because anyone he murders.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he murders them, and that's how they. And they're just different because they just chose not to go into the light.
Yeah.
Like for a while, you're like, why are these two zombies all of a sudden? But it sort of explained that they just were like, we saw the light and we were like,
we bailed.
Yeah, we were like, nah, we're good. And now they're zombies. I love it. Such a good movie. Such a good pick.
Seth Green spends his entire movie with a Coke bottle stabbed into his head. And Eldon Henson from Mighty Ducks has his head attached via gaffer tape and a barbecue prong.
So
very
good.
violent. The practical effects are incredible in this. And if you're not a fan of The Offspring, you should take the chance to see this because at the prom scene of this movie, The Offspring are killed on stage by the hand, including a very upsetting scalping by the thing. I always remembered, I got this movie and I loved it so much when it was new release that I begged Mum and Dad to get it again. And they're like, no, it's a new release. I'm like, please, I want to pirate it on my second VCR because I was a cool guy back then.
Yes.
And Mum and Dad are like, oh, okay. And so Dad's like, well, why don't you put it on? We'll watch it together. And me not thinking goes, yeah, no worries. And it gets to the scene. There's a lady in a car with kiss makeup, completely topless. And Dad's like, oh, maybe we'll turn this off.
I've already seen it.
Yeah,
It's too late now.
I've already seen it. And they're like, we haven't. We'll
Just let
turn
it
off.
happen.
It's a lot of fun.
It
It's
is.
back it's the same time as the start of like the Final Destination films. So your high gore with, well-known teenage actors became the norm. Thanks to Dimension Films, my all-time favorite horror distribution company. I just revisit this way more than I should.
It's good because it's got the comedy in there as well, so it lightens it up a little bit. I think it's a fun movie.
Definitely
Check it out.
And it's also got Tom from Blink-182 does a cameo. He works at the fast food place.
Yes.
Man, I love this movie. And like I said with The Faculty, I love the soundtrack because one thing Dimension Films knew their audience, teenagers, and it put Jessica Alba on the map because she looks like very nice.
She's a hottie.
You said it, not me.
She is. She still is. So.
Oh, 100%. I remember I'd seen her in a few things, and I was the jury was still out, but then I saw Sin City.
Okay.
I was like, I'm a huge fan of Jessica Alba.
She's like a stripper in that, so
neither here nor there. She's just good at acting in that movie as well.
That's it. She's such a good actress.
Awesome. I would give Idle Hands 18 out of 19. That's how much I love it and revisit it.
I'm down for that.
Awesome. We'll move on to the next choice. This is DVG. Now, moving away from movies where we find the actors so attractive that that's all we talk about, let's go to a different movie completely. From 2009, Jennifer Boddy, starring Amanda Seyfried, Adam Brody. Who else is worth mentioning?
Who's
I
that
can't
other
even
one?
think who else is in there.
Who played Jennifer again?
Oh, yeah. I think Megan Fox might be in this movie.
That's right, Megan Fox. That's right. I remember her.
Savannah Summers, you've chosen this movie. I don't understand why. What do you love about this movie?
It's definitely one of those ones that got a really bad rap when it came out, but I think it was all right. I thought it was a bit different, and hotties, love the hotties.
It's a revenge horror film starring teenagers in high school from the writer of Juno. So
yes,
it's definitely.
She
I
basically did a hit, and then she was like, "Well, now I'm just going to do whatever I want."
Exactly.
Did this, and everyone's like, not so much."
But if you look at the marketing, and obviously because a male-dominated world the film industry is,
yes,
it just looks like TNA.
Yeah.
But then you find out it's from the writer of Juno, and you watch it, and it's actually. I don't want to be a white guy saying that it's empowering for women, but women are not the weakest part of this movie at all.
I think that's why she did it. I think she was like, "Well, I've got a bit of clout now from Juno, so I'm gonna do this. It's about focused on women, bit of women empowerment, I guess, and I think it has a bit of backstory for her as well, like with her childhood. I think she put into it as well. So it's interesting, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. So, I'm a weirdo. What can I say?
So for those that don't know, a newly possessed high school's cheerleader turns into a succubus who specializes in killing her male classmates. Can her best friend put an end to the horror? This movie's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Much like I'd put this in the same category as Idle Hands.
Yeah.
This is a little bit darker, but it's still definitely... It's meant to make you laugh as much as it is.
Yeah, it's still got some cheesy one-liners, that's for sure, and it's a bit of fun, but there's some good gore in there, and a bit of girl-on-girl action if you're into that.
Each to its own.
And then it still leaves it a little bit open. I think at the end there's like a little spot at the end where it's like could go on. There could be another one if they really wanted to, I guess, but probably won't happen.
The director Karen Kusama, known for doing Girl Fight, Destroyer, Aeon Flux. So if the Weinsteins got their hands on it, and it was directed by Michael Bay or something like that, where it would become, look how sexy she is, and she kills people. Whereas it's like she knows how sexy she is, and she uses that to be able to kill people.
Yes.
It's a different kind of film.
Yes, and I think there's meant to be like a different metaphor at the start when she is sacrificed or whatever, how she becomes possessed, and I think that was meant to have a bit of a different meaning, like because a lot of
Diablo
stuff.
Cody, she also loves all the coming of age stuff.
Yes.
So it hits on that.
Yeah.
It hits on, the way the world is with assault and everything.
Yeah, and I think that's why Megan Fox was very keen to do it.
Yep.
Because of all that is definitely how she's portrayed in Hollywood, and she thought this was like a good way to show that. So, yeah, you look more into it,
That's it.
It's good. Good
and
stuff.
The poster still sells it to idiot boys like me. So it's...
And I'll be honest, and to me.
Yeah. Who doesn't want it?
That's
anyway,
right.
If they made a sequel, it'd just be Machine Gun Kelly. Would clearly be in that movie. All right, let's jump back into the music. I think it's time we heard a little bit of wrestling music.
Okay, why
Do you have an all-time favourite wrestling theme?
Oh, it'd just be something like Trish Stratus or something.
Oh, okay. Well,
just the women. I love the women.
I want to represent the boys right now.
That's fine.
Specifically, the sexy boys.
Oh, okay, yep.
This is DVG. We are heading back in time once again, back to 2005, the year Savannah Summers was born. Now, she decided to celebrate that year by watching a movie from the year of your birth.
Yes.
I don't know how old that makes you, so I've creeped myself out. So, House of Wax.
Yes.
Starring, from what I can tell of the poster and the trailer, Paris Hilton's in this movie.
Yeah. I don't think she's in too many movies, but this is one. She makes an appearance and,
And one of the Supernatural guys I also saw in there.
Yeah. I don't know.
Full disclosure, I have never seen this movie.
Really?
I was never interested.
No, that's
I don't
fair.
know why,
that's
though.
fair. Nah, it's a remake though, isn't it? It's been done before.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
reckon.
a remake.
Yeah, no, it's a classic, like Hammer horror-esque type.
Yeah. I guess it was just, came out at the time, so I watched it. But I have watched it a few times. It's a bit different. That's probably why I like it. It's creepy, you know. It's the same old story, I guess. Group of friends, high school friends, decide to go on a road trip and pass through a town, and you know,
it's
chaos
one of the Texas
ensues.
Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, it's basically that, except you know, instead of chainsaws, there's wax.
Now, in saying it, just looking at the director, his name is Jaume Colette Sarah. That's the best I can pronounce. He was responsible for The Shallows. I don't know if you've seen the shark movie with Blake Lively.
No.
Where she goes surfing.
I know the one you're talking, but I never have.
And also
seen it.
Orphan, which is an incredibly... have you seen that one?
Nope, haven't seen that either.
That one is probably one
worth
I would
watching.
highly recommend.
Okay.
And I won't tell you anything about it.
Okay, good.
Just that it's pretty great.
Okay.
So
all right. I'll check it out.
He knows what he's doing when it comes to horror.
Yeah. I think this just it just creeps me out because of the way it's done, in the way that they're not necessarily dead when they, you know, get put into the wax, and then that freaks you out, but then like the way it goes about creeps you out.
Okay,
you know?
I thought it was a movie about like a BDSM club where you get whacked.
So
it's House of Wax. So this sounds completely different than what I was expecting.
Ruined it. Yeah, I guess they go in and they go into like the church, and there's all just like these statues and stuff, and they're like, oh, what's with all these random statues of people everywhere? And then slowly they discover that they're real people that have been, you know, made into wax and died, basically.
Now, I wonder if this movie was made in Australia, because there's a few Aussie actors that I can see as very minor supporting actors.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember.
Because it's got Damon Herriman, who's now made a name for himself because he played... he's from Adelaide. He played Charles Manson in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But I love him from a movie from 2003 called Ned, which I bring up as often as I can.
Okay.
It's a comedy version of Ned Kelly.
Yeah.
And it is so bad.
Because I've never been one of those before.
It is so bad, it's brilliant.
Okay.
It is so bad. Like, some of the jokes in that film are just life-changingly bad. And I recommend it to everyone.
That.
It's in full on YouTube, so that's how you know it's good.
Okay.
A movie's good when it stays up on YouTube. Like I said, it's got Jared Padalecki from Supernatural.
Yep.
You don't strike me as a Supernatural fan.
No. I think I watched like the first couple of seasons and then just kind of lost interest.
There's something about those female, and this is being very generalized, the female fans of Supernatural and Buffy. Yeah. There's just something about them as people.
I love Buffy.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, I love Buffy, but that's probably why I'm more, because it's the female lead. That's probably why I'm drawn to that more.
Girls.
And then when you get the male leads, I'm like, who wants that?
This is
not
gross.
me.
If I wanted sausages, I'd open my inbox.
I tried to get into it, but I just lost interest. But no, Buffy, I'm all for Buffy. I love Buffy.
What's your favourite episode? Is it One More Time with Phil?
No,
because that's everyone else's.
It's the Gentleman episode.
Hush.
Yeah, I love that episode.
Guess what? I've seen 2 episodes of Buffy ever,
and that's one of them.
Do you know what really upsets Casey, the co-host?
What?
I've seen every single episode of Angel. And 2 episodes of Buffy.
Well, I've seen every episode of both. Millions of times each.
Charisma Carpenter fell into my heart in a big way. But even David Boreanaz, I still see him come up in really terrible TV shows. And I'm like, oh man, I might rewatch Angel.
Yeah.
Start rewatching. I'm like, oh, it does not look good anymore. Because in my mind, I'm like, it's aged as flawlessly as the X-Files have. Go back, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
HD was not good too. I did read somewhere that Buffy and Angel were both shot in aspect ratio of television screens.
Okay.
Back in, remember when TVs were this shape and this deep?
Yes.
So there is no existing copy of it being high def enough to make it be shown now. Apparently,
Well, I've got like the box set of both, so I just watch those all the time. So love it. Can't fault Buffy or Angel.
The reason that come up is because I believe Nathan Fillion turned up in the final season of Buffy. The big, you wouldn't care, the big milk boring dude that's in like heaps of movies. I'll show you.
Okay,
I'll
I'm like, I don't know names. I probably know who
I'll show you.
About. Definitely show me. I'm always interested.
Apparently this guy turns up in the end of Buffy, like the final season.
Oh, yeah.
But he's nothing special.
Nah. I think he's in a few episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, nothing too fancy.
What would you give Buffy out of 19?
Oh, like 25.
25. So that's your show. That's your Sopranos.
Yeah. I remember growing up and like I loved it when I was a teenager, and I used to babysit, and then I used to just watch Buffy, and then I got in trouble because the kids were having nightmares because I had been watching Buffy while I was babysitting. But I was like, I don't care. Buffy's the best. They're fine. It's not real. What are they worried about?
I don't know. That Hush episode is perhaps the scariest episode of television.
That's why I love it. It was so good. They did it so well.
Awesome. Well, let's continue the list this evening and get back into the music. Don't forget, you can join in the conversation. Just search for Dave's Video Graveyard on WOWFM on all your social media. And while you're there, look up Savannah Summers. Her inbox is always open. This is DVG. It is DVG on WOWFM. Just looking at inbox photos once again. It is time to talk about a movie I thought it had Johnny Depp in it. I realized that was a completely different movie. We are talking about 2005's The Skeleton. That's a new movie. It is The Skeleton.
With Johnny Depp.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back into the keyhole, it is The Skeleton. No, it's a skeleton Ken doll.
Oh,
hey,
there we go.
Money. There we went.
Why not?
2005's The Skeleton Key, starring Kate Hudson, Peter Skarsgård, Joy Bryant. Why have you chosen this film? Tell me about it.
I guess this one's a little bit different. It's not, your typical horror movie. It's not as gory as, most horror movies, but I really enjoyed it. I think because it's different, it's got a bit of a twist at the end, and I like horror movies when the good guy doesn't always win, and that's
perhaps a spoiler alert.
Yeah, a bit of a spoiler, but yeah, I like that. It gives you that bit of a twist at the end, and I don't know why I like that, but I do.
So you like things with twists in the end?
I do. I like it if I don't see it coming. If any movies where I don't expect it, a lot of the times, most movies I watch and 5 minutes in, I'm like, I bet you this happens. I ruin the whole movie.
I hate movies where they're like, you read the review or the description and it's like, in this Fight Club-esque blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, so the twist is that they're both the same person.
Yeah,
you watch it and it's like,
what's going to happen.
Oh, why do that?
Yeah.
Honestly. So how did you find this movie? Is this something you found on streaming?
No, I think just when it came out, I watched it and I remembered it. It was, it's good. So
female lead, so it ticks your box.
I like that. I always like that. Basically she's like a nurse. She goes to help an elderly man. She works in like a nursing home, I think, and then she decides to step away from that and just do like at-home care, and goes to help this family with an older man who's had a stroke, and then obviously little things start to unravel with this couple, this older couple, and then, it gets into like, I think like witchcraft or voodoo.
Yeah, right.
And and bad things happen, or it all kind of unravels at the end. It's like a slow build. It's a slow build. You just gotta stick with it. It's not mega exciting the whole time, that's for sure.
Oh, John Hurt turns up. Wow, so it's got some big names in it as well.
And I think it's a remake as well.
Really?
I think there's an old. I don't know why I like the remakes, and I haven't seen any of the originals.
I genuinely thought The Skeleton Key was the Johnny Depp movie where, like, part of his house opens up and it's like a secret chamber or something.
Is that The Secret Window? No, that's...
The Secret Window is... I don't know.
Is that the one you're thinking of?
It 100%
No,
is.
that's different.
Thank
that's
you.
Definitely different.
Because when you said this, I was like, oh, yeah, I know that movie. The lead time, I'm like, I remember Kate Hudson being
Hang on a minute. What's this all about? Yeah, no, completely different movie. But Secret Window is kind of good as well. That has a bit of a twist.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's what made me think that it may have been that. But the twist is that Kate Hudson is Johnny Depp.
The whole time. Hey, you're kind of giving it away with this whole Fight Club and people being other people thing, but yeah.
Oh, well, that was from 2000 to about 2006. That was part of the course. So you got the others. There's about 10 other movies where it's like, the secret is they're ghosts. Yeah. Like, The Sixth Sense has a lot to answer for.
That's almost like this movie. So it does fit nicely in that era, obviously.
Quite clearly.
Yeah.
Awesome. So other than what you got coming up on the weekends, is there any other wrestling that we should know about?
Yeah, we've got Virginia show coming up for Power Slam. I've got a tag match there where I'm tagging up with Blair Alexis, so that'll be a good one.
Nice.
Yeah, and
a tag match, for those who don't know, it's where you go outside the venue and see who can spray paint the most of the side of it. Yeah. Is that right?
Whoever gets the most tags in a allotted amount of time wins.
And you had to stop doing it at Northern Sound System because the whole outside was already done.
Yeah, there wasn't enough room left.
Too hard to count.
It's like whoever can find the most space wins.
What's happening out in Virginia? That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, they're trying something new, so that'll be good. See if we can get a good crowd out there, and if we can, hopefully we'll keep doing some shows out that way.
Farming country. You're gonna do, wrestling's going to do well.
Hopefully.
That is
it would be nice.
My guess. And tell us more about, obviously you don't know if you're part of it yet because you are the foundation of the whole bloody company. Riot City coming up on Saturday night.
Yes, so obviously it's their first show at the new gym, the new venue, so it'll be good. And besides that, we do have a show coming up for Halloween. So, booked or not, I will dress up and I will go to that show, so it should be a good one either way.
Are you dressing as Elvira? I'm asking for a friend. A friend named Dave.
No, sorry, I'm not. I have a couple of options.
The only reason I was asking, I wasn't being a pervert. Just making sure we weren't wearing the same thing.
Yeah, figured as much.
Getting it out of the way.
We've also got a PWSA show that same weekend, so I think it's like a Friday, Saturday show. So, Saturday is PWSA and Sunday is Riot City.
Are the crowd dressing up for the Halloween show?
Well, I hope so, but I think that's, it's not mandatory. It's up to them.
So.
But I have a couple of costumes
Blue
and
Meanie might turn up.
Oh my God, do it. Yes, I want it to happen now. Definitely.
It's got to be Vader.
A cheap costume.
I'm much too unattractive.
No, I think it'd be good. Definitely. No. But yeah, I've just got to decide, I guess, what I'm going to wear. How I'm going to make... I think it depends also if I'm actually wrestling or not, with the costume that I choose.
Steal one of the other wrestlers' gimmick in their clothes and go ahead as Baron.
I have a feeling he won't dress up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What if he just shows up in a suit and tie?
I want to see him just like in his usual stuff, but just with like some bunny ears on or something.
That'd be fantastic.
It would be amazing.
Or even just a Groucho mask with a moustache.
Yes, so good.
Awesome. Of course, you can find Savannah Summers on all your social medias. Let's get back into the music as we continue this Mixed Bag special. This is 100.5 WOWFM. Back in the wonderful year 1998, Stephen Summers, the director and writer of The Mummy, hadn't quite tackled The Mummy yet. He wanted to dip his toe into the action-adventure horror genre, which he obviously perfected with Brendan Fraser in The Mummy. However, this is the proto-Mummy. I'm talking about 1998's Deep Rising, and you haven't seen this movie.
No, I don't believe I have.
So, a group of hijackers / mercenaries hire this, played by Treat Williams. He's a real wisecracking, bit of a coward, not really an action guy. They hire his boat because, he's one of those... basically, he's Han Solo. He's got a really crappy boat. No one else will do the job because it's so questionable.
Yep.
So these mercenaries hire him to take him out to a cruise liner.
Okay.
And you find out that these mercenaries have been hired to sink the cruise liner, much like Titanic type thing, sink it, because the owner of the cruise liner wants to get the money back through insurance
money. Yep.
So they go out to the middle of the ocean, they board the ship, and it's completely deserted, but there is blood everywhere.
Oh, like Ghost Ship?
Well, kind of like Ghost Ship. It came out around about the same time.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of the advertising looks the same.
Okay.
It's a giant tentacle monster.
Oh, wow.
That's eaten everyone on board.
Okay.
So then the mercenaries and the pilot of the boat have to make their way through the ship. Notable mention to the female member of the mercenaries, which is played by Famke Janssen, who you may know. Janssen, she's Jean Grey from the original X-Men movies. She's in The Faculty as as the hot teacher that becomes a squid.
Nice.
She's in so many amazing things. I loved her in Nip Tuck, and this movie is so much fun because, it's what you'd expect from the writer-director of The Mummy because it's a bit silly.
Yep.
It's very fun. It's very adventure-y, but it's also cheesy horror movie from the thing.
Yep.
I remember this having one of the most upsetting teaser trailers back in when it came out. I remember seeing it before. I reckon it was like Alien Resurrection or something like that. The trailer was a cruise. It opens up on a cruise line and everyone's running and screaming. Oh, okay. And a lady goes into the toilet and shuts the door. And she's all scared and crying and sits down on the toilet. And with that, suddenly she gets pulled instantly straight down the toilet.
Oh, God.
And that's all you see. That's the whole trailer. There just said Deep Rising coming soon. And it really sets up for what it is, because as silly and as many jokes as this movie has, it's very gory.
Okay.
So it's like Ghost Ship.
Yeah, I'll be honest, when you started talking about it, I was like, this sounds really interesting. Then you said Tentacle Monster, and I was like, I don't know.
I rate it because it's very silly.
I'd still watch it.
The pilot of the boat's Offsider is played by... you know the character Benny in The Mummy? The dodgy guy?
Yep.
He plays a very similar character in this because, like I said, it's a lot of the same people involved from The Mummy, and it's visually it looks pretty good because special effects from The Mummy guys. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a horror movie that's fun, and quite often I'm not in the mood for, to sit down and watch like The Conjuring or, those very self-serious, scary movies.
Yeah.
I want something fun and scary.
Yep, I agree completely. Yeah. I'll definitely check it out.
Well, you say that.
No, I will.
But you've just called me for not wanting to see...
I'm always looking for new movies to watch that I haven't seen, so any suggestions are always good.
I'll test you. I'll be testing you.
Next time I'm on.
All right, now we'll go into one of the higher class horror movies that I've picked. For fans of The Piano, Citizen Kane, Shawshank Redemption, all those higher class movies, let's go back to 1999. Anyone that watched any of the Young Guns movies knows who Lou Diamond Phillips is. He played the Indian cowboy in both the Young Guns movies. In 1999, he stepped out and he became a sheriff in the movie Bats. This movie is so silly. It's unbelievable. The amount of scenes in this movie that, not just the CGI bats in the sky, the amount of scenes in this movie that's an actor holding a rubber bat to like their neck and running around screaming. But God. It's almost played serious.
Yeah.
So it's that, because 1999 was the era where horror was still trying to figure out. Dimension Films were just throwing things at the walls to see what stuck.
Yeah.
This movie is so dumb. But like I said with Deep Rising, this is so much fun.
Yeah.
Like the practical gore is amazing, but at the same time, it's pretty much similar to the second Ace Ventura because all the bats in it.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
Is it like Birds?
Very similar.
I feel like it looks like it's the same as Birds.
It's the same as Eight-Legged Freaks,
Yep.
all those movies.
Yep.
It's the thing where the specialist... the scientists have said, hey, the bats are going to attack everyone. No one listens. The bats start attacking. Yeah. No one listens. The military bugger it up. So it's up to the sheriff and the scientists to stop everything.
Yep, save the day.
Yeah, honestly, it's so much fun.
Yep.
It's got Leon from Cool Runnings, which I find quite funny because Dougie Doug from Cool Runnings did Eight-Legged Freaks, and they're both such similar movies.
Yep.
So I feel like that's what you had to do after you did Cool Runnings.
Well, it's also one I haven't seen, so I'll have to check it out.
Don't hold it against me.
Okay.
I told you how bad it was.
You chose it, so it must be amazing.
I told you how bad it was.
I'll still watch it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like what you see is what you get with a movie called Bats that came out in 1999.
Yeah, love it.
So it's no La Bamba, but it's probably Lou Diamond Phillips' best work. Outside of 2 years ago, he was on The Wiggles.
Oh,
and
okay.
What is he
random?
Doing? I'm like, because he was La Bamba, that makes sense. But Richie Valens. But I'm like, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
21 years too late or whatever it is.
Okay.
Longer than that. Awesome. So Bats is my next suggestion. I think we'll play a little bit more music. This is 100.5 WOWFM. I'm not stalling because I haven't got the right folder open. Not at all. This is 100.5 WOWFM. The movie that I have no excuse for not seeing from 2002, starring Naomi Watts, The Ring, remake of Ringu. Why did you pick this?
I think it's another one that's a little bit different. It's got a little bit of a different story to it. It's a bit, I don't know, not gory, like just creepy. So it's very creepy, and you know, the story isn't overly amazing. They try to make it a good story.
I just recommended Bats. How dare you not pick something that doesn't have an incredible story?
I know they really try to give it like a good story and put it all together. But it's really just based around this videotape that you watch, and then, you know, 7 days later you die. And
imagine telling my kids' generation, the bad guy, this movie is a videotape.
What's a videotape? Yeah, so it's basically like they had this one idea of that, and then they're like, now we have to build a story around it. And they tried, and it kind of works. And I think they made The Ring 2. They made a second one, I think, to try to make it make more sense, because I think afterwards they were probably like, you know what, it didn't really make that much sense, so let's get more into it. But I think it leaves you just as confused as the first one.
The thing that always springs to mind, and quite often when like we're talking about like rom-coms from the late 90s, the way it was covered in Not Another Teen Movie is what springs to mind. With The Ring, I can't help but think of Scary Movie 3. And the reason being, in that, it has the Ring videotape.
Yes.
But you find out the Ring is actually an up view of a toilet, and someone stands up, and it's the ring of a toilet. And honestly, I was like, I'm not going to see that movie, because this joke is so good. There's no way it can be better than that.
I love it.
You know, and this has the iconic scene of the girl crawling out of the television.
Yeah, it's really good. I really enjoyed that, like, aspect of it. It does creep you out. It, you know, leaves you with those like scary sort of, you know, turn the light off at night and freak out. I'm sure
though a lot of film viewers have wished that the girl that was on screen would crawl out at some stage, depending on what they were watching.
No,
not The Ring.
Not me, but yeah, other movies maybe.
Yeah, other movies.
Definitely. But yeah, it's just one of those ones that stands out in my head with the creepy factor. So and just little bits and pieces they try to put together.
Not to ring your own horn, but you are a massive creep. So
yeah,
it's good
it's perfect for me.
It's so on brand.
Exactly right.
So on brand. What would you give it out of 19?
Probably a 10.
Okay. So it's middle of the road.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. It is time that we go to high class, high concept science fiction horror. This is DVG. From 2009, starring award-winning Nicolas Cage, we are talking about the film Knowing. Now, for those that don't know Knowing, let me explain to you an exciting film. Imagine the director of Dark City and The Crow was given quite a big budget, an amazing CGI department, and one Mr. Nicolas Cage to make an end-of-the-world movie. This movie is absolute insanity. Have you seen this film?
Yes, I've definitely seen this one.
So the movie opens up with Nicolas Cage's character's son being gifted. Their class at school open a time capsule that's been buried for 50 years. Everyone else has letters from the people that put it in, and Nicolas Cage's son just gets a page of numbers.
Yeah.
So Nicolas Cage starts looking into it because he's a numerologist, like a professor of numerology or whatever it is.
Something like that.
He starts figuring out that it's basically a list of every major tragedy that's happened in human history. So he starts working through and finding out what all the numbers correspond to. There is 2 different ones that he can't understand. One of them happens, which is a plane crash, which one of the coolest looking plane crashes ever committed to film in what is perhaps... It's a movie you have to see twice because you don't know if it's as dumb as you thought it was the first time.
You don't pick up on everything the first time.
You watch it once, you go, oh, I think... Was that clever? I'm not sure. I think it was clever. You watch it a second time, you're like, oh my goodness. Every time I watch this film, I'm going to get dumber because it's one of those horror movies.
It really is.
Oh, what a
Definitely
film.
Nicolas Cage.
It is.
It's perfect. It was perfect for him.
Because... as the movie goes on, like, he becomes more and more frazzled, and that's when the Nicolas Cage comes out in him. And
yes.
I will recommend this must-see horror film just because you just have to see it once.
Yeah.
Just you're a better like I said, you're less intelligent from having seen it, but you're also a better person from having seen it. Just to tell people about this movie you saw, and you tell them what happened in it, and they're like, so what happened at the end? You're like,
it sort of just goes off in a totally different direction than what you expect.
I feel like, and I've said it before, with this movie, it was being written in a pad with 99 pages. And the writer got to the 99th page and was still 20 minutes left of the movie, but only had 4 lines to finish it. So did?
Yeah.
Oh, and then this happens and this happens. The end.
Yes, that's exactly how it goes. That's how it feels anyway, watching it.
And the one thing that I want everyone to look out for, if you do go out and watch Knowing, which you have to now that you've heard me mention it, his mother-in-law in the film, because this movie was filmed in Australia, is played by Benita Collings from Play School, who I have this weird obsession with, and that's just so bizarre to see Benita from Play School playing and hugging Nicolas Cage. What a film.
Yeah, that's random.
It is very random. Well, I believe that's our list of 10, if I can count correctly, which I probably can't.
No, I think that's about right.
That's it, yep.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Sure.
Awesome. Awesome. So, like we said, before we run out of time, let's go back through everything you got coming up with wrestling.
So we have this weekend on the 9th is the Riot City first show at the new Academy. And then the following weekend, I believe, is Power
Virginia?
Slam. Yep, Virginia. And then we have the 2 shows for Halloween weekend, both PWSA and Riot City Wrestling. So definitely check out any of those if you can, all in Adelaide. You can, if you follow any of my stuff online, I will advertise everything so you'll have all the details there.
And
where times, all of that.
Savannah Summers puts it out to the public. You are challenged to out-costume her at the Riot City Wrestling Halloween show.
Please, I've got some good ones up my sleeves. I'm not
Can
going to
I borrow
give them
your
away.
light wings?
Oh, do it. Yes,
I
won't need them.
I'll dress as you.
I won't need them, so go for it. Absolutely. Awesome. But I'm not giving away what I will be dressing as because I want it to be a surprise, but they're going to be good. Real good.
It's the blue meanie, isn't it?
Damn it. Ruined it.
You shouldn't have dyed your hair 3 weeks out. No. Well, thank you very much. And of course, if you've enjoyed this WOWFM program, make sure you check out wowfm.org. You can become a station sponsor or a supporter of WOWFM, whatever you want to do. It helps keep the lights on and keeps all the shows that you enjoy on the air. Thank you very much, Savannah Summers. Remind us again, the social medias, where are they?
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, just Savannah Summers.
OnlyFans.
Not OnlyFans, sorry. Not yet anyway.
Well, my costume of you will be a part of the official Savannah Summers OnlyFans.
Yep, sounds good.
Awesome.
So yeah, check me out everywhere, anywhere. Follow me on all the things.
Just not in real life.
Yes, please, not in real life.
This is 100.5 WOW FM. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.